How long you been in the business, man?
I got licensed in late 2017. So it was like December. Man, it was like right before New Year's. It was like the day after Christmas or something, or whenever they were open around that last week. I went to Kaplan, took the test. So it was just a few days before New Year's.
Passed it first time?
No, hell no. I had to take took tests 3 times. Man, let me tell you, I never studied harder for any test in my life than for that test. Like school, man, I could cheat my way through it. I was able to copy my way through it. Like I got through it. But this was like, oh, I really have to pass this. There's no kind of fudging it. There's no talking to the teacher after class saying, come on, help me out. Like either you pass it or you don't. So yeah, I put everything I had into trying to pass that dang test.
So, yeah, my understanding, right? It's gotten tougher. It's not easier. They've added to that test, right? And I mean, throughout the years, I mean, last time I was even peeking at it, right, was like 15 years ago, man. So
yeah, I mean, that could be a whole conversation right there. I mean, the way the schooling's set up, the way the real estate commission's set up, I can go on a whole tangent about it. But yeah, I think there's no way around it. That test is hard because it's not I'm a logical guy. I think logically. The way that test is structured is if you need to pick the most best answer, although there are 3 correct answers and 1 crazy answer, they want you to pick the best answer. So as a logical thinker, you may think, okay, this is correct. This theoretically could be correct. Well, if you argue it this way, it might be correct. And it's so hard to figure out what their idea of the best answer is. So I think that's what makes that test so difficult. It's not just like any test. It's because of that logic-based system that they created for that test that makes it very difficult to pass.
Got you. Now, 2017, that's not much longer after you graduated high school, right? When did you graduate high school?
No, I graduated high school in 2017. May of 2017, I graduated high school.
Oh, I thought you graduated like 2015.
No. May of 2017, graduated high school. Well, I'll just give you the whole backstory.
Okay.
I graduated high school May of 2017, and Rio Rancho High School, so go Rams. After that, I went to CNM almost immediately after. I did 1 semester at CNM. I got to CNM, and I realized, oh, this is more schooling. I thought I was done. I thought I just went through it. I barely passed. I barely graduated high school. Like, I'm done. No more school for me. Like, I'm on to starting life, something fun. And then I'm in the classroom. I'm like, man, this is the same thing. Like, what am I doing here? So told my parents, you know what? I'm going to finish what I started. I finished 1 semester at CNM. And then after that, I was like, I'm out of here. Bounced. I applied at CarMax. And right after that, because I was like, well, I love selling stuff. I'm good at sales. I like it. And during that last year, my senior year of high school, I would buy and sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and I would sell it on eBay. I would buy headlights on Facebook Marketplace. You'd be surprised. Headlights on cars. People would think, oh, $50 for a broken headlight. They don't know. A mechanic in Utah will buy it for me for $500 because it's an LED headlight. So I'd buy it. I go there. I lowball him. I say, hey, I can give you $10. It's broken. Cool. I'll sell it for $500. Some guy in Utah on eBay. And so I like flipping stuff. And I'm like, well, if I'm good at that, let me try scaling up. Let me try selling cars. I'm a huge car guy. So went to CarMax, applied, went through the whole process, and then never heard back. And I'm like, okay, well, what the heck? I'm supposed to be like the prodigy. Like in my head, I am the best salesman to ever walk the earth. Like I have that swagger behind me thinking that. And they didn't call me back. And then I went back to them and I kept trying. And I had to reapply. And then I reapplied a 3rd time. And I went back to the office, to the CarMax. And I said, I need to talk to whoever's in charge here. I figured if I went there and like tried to convince him, he would be like, you know what, you got what's in you, I'll give you the job. And that didn't happen at all. The manager came out all grumpy, and he's like, look, I'm sorry, we just don't think you'd be good at sales. We just don't think you'd be good. I'm sorry, we can't give you the job. Have a good day. And I was like, damn, man. I was like, that sucks. It hurt a little bit, but it didn't change my confidence. I still knew, like, all right, whatever, dude, you're gonna regret it. No big deal. My mom, shout out to my mom. She gave me the idea and said, well, why don't you try real estate? Get into real estate. Don't know how sales work. Don't know how commission works. I have no idea. I'm just like, all right, it's a sales job. I like sales. Let's try it. So we went to a career night at Coldwell Banker Legacy, and this was still 2017. Man, this had to have been like September or August of 2017. This was all these things were so back to back.
So end of the year after graduation.
All this happened simultaneously. Yeah. Went to their career night. They said, hey, if you sell a lot of houses, you can make good money. It's a good job. It's competitive. And I'm a huge competitive guy. I'm like, well, I love this. So After career night, I figured out what I had to do. I had to go to my real estate classes to pass, and I said, okay, well, let me do this. And I don't tell this part of the story very often, but I had a massive collection of Lego Star Wars and vintage Transformers. They were like a big hobby of mine, like Transformers from the 80s, like the Soundwave, like all those. I had all of those. Those were like my favorite things. I had to sell a lot of it to pay for my real estate school.
Oh.
So I sold almost most of it at the time on eBay because that's how I knew to sell stuff. So sold it all right back to eBay. Paid to get the real estate school. At the time, it was like $3,000. It's still like $3,000 to get your real estate license. It hasn't gone up with inflation, which is interesting. But anyways, took the real estate test, passed the test, got licensed, started at Coldwell Banker Legacy, and started at the Rio Rancho office, which was off of Unser and Unser and Southern area. At the time, that was like middle of nowhere. A lot of people would argue it's still the middle of nowhere, but went there and just worked my ass off for day in, day out, 7 days a week, and thank God I was good at it. I found out I was really good at real estate. That first year, I got GAAR Rookie of the Year, which is the Albuquerque Metropolitan Association for the best Rookie of the Year. That was a big deal to me because at the time, most people that got that award were people that had prior careers. Like maybe you were an attorney, you were a police officer, you had some kind of prior career, so you had a big sphere of influence, a big book of business of people that you knew, right? When I got in, I had to call my friend and say, hey, Elijah, give me your mom's phone number. I need to talk to her about buying or selling a house. I didn't have a big book to really look at. So I tried my best with the book that I had. I got a few deals off of it, but a lot of it came organically off of doing open houses. Man, I was the open house king, man. I did a lot of open houses, a lot of floor duty. That's where you could sign up for a shift during office hours where if anyone calls that Coldwell Banker saying, hey, I want to buy or sell a house, they give me the lead. Well, I took the most. We were only allowed to take like 6 floor shifts like a month, and I would take like literally 30. Like I took the most. I was always in the office. I got so many deals off of floor duty. That was such a big thing. But yeah, and then after that, just kept building up over the years.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
First deal. What was your first deal? How long did it take to close your first deal?
Wasn't long. It was in Cabazon, Rio Rancho.
Nice.
First deal was Cabazon, Rio Rancho. I was holding an open house. I remember I had all the MLS sheets printed out of all the houses for sale. I had like a big stack of like 50 houses. This was 2017. We had a lot of them. There was like 3,800 homes on the market around that time. For relevance, we have less than 2,400 right now, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
So there was a lot more inventory.
It was booming.
Yeah, a lot more inventory. So I had a big old fat stack of all the other properties. I was holding open one house. This couple came in. And they said, yeah, the house ain't really for us, and we're going to move on. I said, well, wait. You guys like Cabazon, right? And they said, yeah. Okay, check this out. I have a list of everything in Cabazon. Check it out. Which ones you want to look at? And I was just intense because in my mind, I was like, I have to get this. This was this was probably March of 2018, so just a few months being into it.
Okay.
So got through training, got onboarded, like I'm ready to go. Like so month 1 essentially. I just had this drive, like I have to get a deal. Like I was so excited to get a deal. Like I don't know if you guys ever had that energy where you're just so amped up and excited. I had that energy with me, and I think that probably showed at the time really well. But I said, guys, look at all these houses. What do you want to see? You want a 2-story? You want a 1-story? I got whatever you want. Like, let's check it out. I got it right here. And I think they liked me, and they knew I was a new broker, and they said, all right, we like this one. Show us this one. Perfect. Come back in an hour. I'll be locked up here. I was so excited. I went, showed them that house, showed them a couple more. We finally found the one they wanted. It was on Reynosa Loop in Cabazon. I remember the address still. We looked at it. It was like 170 at the time. Now the house is definitely worth like 400. Bought it for one. Different market. It was like 170 and some change. But yeah, we put in an offer. Great people. They still come to my client events to this day. And coincidentally, their son I went to high school with too. We did wrestling together, so we knew each other from that. So we still all keep in touch. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what's neat about that story is it sounds like you did it the right way, right? You put in the legwork and you showed them as many houses as you needed to, right? I feel like some people, right, they expect to just the sale to land on their laps, right? Or they don't want to go out there and put in the work, drive people around sometimes, right? And not sure what you're going to get, but
I coach and mentor. I've coached and mentored tons of agents over the years, and that's one thing I've noticed to where I can tell if they're going to make it or not is, are they willing to go in that uncomfortable level and live in that level of uncomfortableness of constantly saying, hey, I don't like, of getting out of your head of thinking you're bugging the person and saying, hey, I got other houses, come back, let me show you,
Yes.
I'm helping you guys, let me help you out. These people are coming to the open house because they want to be helped, and most realtors are too scared to even say, hey, I can show you more. They're just like, okay, here's my card, have a good day. They're not going that extra step that it takes.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that's from what I saw, right? You got to be willing to invite them in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into your life and into yours into theirs,
Yeah.
right? And you need to just get out there, and you're right. The more you get out there, and I've noticed the more you get close to them too, right? It's like you start bonding,
Yeah.
right? You get in the car, especially in the car, put
Yeah.
on a little, blue station or something
Yeah.
something decent, right? You can't put on the worst of music these days, but yeah, I think it's that time you spend with the client is crucial, right?
Yeah. And this is what I would say to, I don't know who's watching this, but I mean, if you're a realtor watching this or you're thinking about it, this is something else I've learned is you don't have to be that charismatic realtor salesman. You don't have to have that perfect personality where you jive with everybody. You can get in this business. You could be the biggest introvert in the world. You could be the biggest extrovert. You could be the biggest, like not traditional corporate guy. You could be the most corporate guy. You could be any personality and be successful in this industry. It's about how hard you work, but not everyone's going to want to work with me. Someone may want a very introverted guy that's only going to talk about, the task at hand and not ramble about anything. I like talking. I'm going to talk to you and conversate, ask about your day. We'll talk about cars, whatever it is. We'll talk about something. Not everybody likes that. Someone might want an introverted guy, and he's going to do fantastic with those people.
You're right. You're right. There are people that are definitely more quiet, right?
Yeah.
People that like to be a little more, just down to business.
You
right?
got that?
Show me the house. That's it. That's funny. I don't want to jump off here too much, but it seems like more of the smaller communities, you get realtors like that, right? It's an unspoken thing, but there's territory. I feel like people have their established territory where they're comfortable working,
Sure.
and you'll find some markets where people are a little more cozier, right? They want somebody a little bit more down to earth or a little bit more, grounded.
Yeah, I would say I haven't experienced where people are like saying this is my turf, but I think there's definitely markets where like I'm most comfortable working this part of town for sure. Mm-hmm. I think we definitely have that, but yeah, I guess
you can't really have your turf is what I mean.
No,
right? Legally,
no, you can't have that.
Yeah, you can't strong arm anything, but people are more comfortable in different markets, definitely.
Yeah, right? like I enjoy the higher end market where, and by higher end I mean like anywhere from like 600 to $1 million. But other people might like lower markets. I have some friends that they thrive at the 200 to 300 price point. That's their bread and butter right there. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean you can't cross over. I mean, my team does all the time, but there's just a sweet spot that you just happen to always seem to get more often than not.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, are you you're a broker now?
Yeah, so I'm a broker realtor.
Realtor.
So everyone that has a real estate license is called a broker. Okay. Now, then on top of that, you can pay into the association to get your realtor designation to be called a realtor. So everyone with a real estate license is a broker. You have to be part of the membership to be called a realtor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And another thing people get confused is they say, well, you're an agent. You're a real estate agent. New Mexico doesn't really practice agency. So we're brokers to transactions. Whereas agents can speak on behalf of the client. We don't have that. So the little unique thing about New Mexico, whereas maybe in California, you might see a lot more agency being practiced. We don't really practice that here.
And what does that mean? That means like in California, they can speak for their client and buy for them or negotiate. And whereas in other words, here, you need their approval.
If you have agency, it depends on what you agree to in the contract. But if you have agency to say, Chris, you're my agent. You're going to help me buy a house. This is the price point I want to go up to. I want to go up to $3 million. See the best deal you can get for me. Okay, we sign it. I am now going around, LA looking for a house, and I'm able to put in an offer. I'm able to sign for it. I'm able to negotiate and come back to you and say, hey, great news. I came back at 2.75 for you. There you go. And never ask you for input if it's not needed.
Really?
Yeah.
California, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, we do things differently here, don't we? We do things a little differently. So, do you have agents that work under you right now?
Yeah. So, again, I don't know who's watching this, but you have what's called real estate teams. So I'll just give a quick breakdown. So you could have solo brokers which was a very common model. I don't know, pre-2015, probably we'll say. You have a single broker model where you have an individual broker that's working within the brokerage. So you have a big box brokerage, and you can have a bunch of people working in there. The new model that is taken over by fire is real estate teams, to where you have a rainmaker who's a team lead, someone there to help guide, mentor, and support you, give you a lot more hands-on help with building your career up. And there you could have brokers sign under you, but you're still under the company brand, or you have your own brand too if you want to. So we decided to partner up with Keller Williams. So our team brand, the Venegas Group, is umbrellaed over Keller Williams.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a new model that people are taking off with, because I was talking to Gabe a little bit about that, and he was telling me, yeah, it's different now.
It's different. Yeah.
In a sense, like like we were saying, kind of how AI works, right? It's like it's a different tool you can implement, right? And you can have a team out there more efficiently.
The real estate market is so aggressive, and it demands so much evolution of pushing the value proposition as much as possible. And having a big brokerage with a bunch of single brokers in the office is a model that's worked for a very long time. There's nothing wrong with that model. That model works. I was at that model for 5 years myself. Nothing wrong with it. This other model is just a different type of format that could really help you. If you're the lone wolf mentality guy, like, hey, I'm doing this on my own, I don't want to talk to no one, I don't need any help, that's perfect for you. You can do your own thing, figure it out. If you want to collaborate with someone and do this as a team that can help mentor or guide you through stuff a lot better than maybe the resources they would offer, then the team model is probably better for you. But there's also a give and take. Oftentimes, if you get a really high-end level of support, they give you leads, they give you office, they give you X, Y, and Z, they're probably going to have a bigger split that you pay them. Versus a single one, you're probably going to have an even better split where you make more money. So there's a balance and a give and take. And it really just depends on what you're looking for, you know? It really depends. Yeah. If I can go back in time, though, 1,000%, I would have joined a team. 1,000%.
Yeah, it seems like more hands-on, more guidance.
I could have got to where I'm at in half the time if I was on a team, I think. I really think so. I really think so. And it would have to have been the right team, too, because there's a lot of bad teams out there. You got to pick the right team.
Now, are you helping people before they get their real estate license, or are you helping them once they've already gotten it, they passed the exam, they got their real estate license, then you're guiding them? Or do you also help?
Both. So I get at least one DM a week on Instagram of someone that sees what I'm about, sees what I'm doing. They like the flashy car, whatever it is. They say, hey, Chris, I like what you're doing. How do I get into this world? What is your world? They may never seen it before, you know, and they came across my account. They live here in Albuquerque. They're like, what is this? I'll call them on the phone, or I'll meet them in the office, and I'll walk them through what this board game looks like that I'm playing on, and kind of give them some mentorship from there. Like once a week, I get some kid that hits me up. Somebody hits me up all the time. So I explain how the board game works, and I say, hey, if you want to join this board game, this is the avenues to take to get there. I could help you with X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to be able to hold your hand through studying practices and passing the tests. Like, I want to see the level of credibility from you. I want to see you start and complete something to show me you're capable of finishing something out. If you can show me you're capable of doing that, then you're probably capable of handling something else. So to answer the question is, I give them guidance up front, whereas I don't think most people would. They would just say, hey, call the real estate school, good luck. Like, no, I take the time to really walk them through what they're going to be entering into to make sure they're cool with it. Because most people don't understand what's entailed to it, and they just say, I want the lifestyle freedom, or I want the fancy car, or I want the nice Rolex. Like, they don't understand what's involved. So I really try to prepare them for what's involved, because I think only 1% really gets to that point. So walking through what's involved, and then brokers that are licensed currently, that are on the team, man, I give my whole heart out to those people. There's a lot of different team models, and I think there's some bad team models and good team models. What a bad team model is a top producing realtor that decides, hey, I want to become the next step in my evolution is to start a real estate team. And what I have learned is being a top producing broker does not equal being a mentor and a good leader. They're not the same thing. So I learned that quickly, and I've helped on good teams, I've helped on bad teams. Like, I've learned there's ways to do it and ways not to do it. So with that being said, our team, the goal of it isn't about me. It's not the ego of me. It's about, hey, a lot of teams treat it to where the brokers on the team work for the team lead. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the team lead works for the brokers on the team. He's there to help them out. That's their biggest priority. The team lead is the biggest priority is helping those brokers on the team. That's it. It's not about him getting more listings, going on more appointments. He's always showing he's never has time for team members. It's about the team lead being there to support and guide them through things and making sure they have every tool possible to become the next you. And then it comes full circle because then I get the money when they sell houses. So
I was just going to say, right? They only become more, right? They perform better for you and the company
it helps
as a
out
whole.
so much more. So to answer your question, my focus right now, if you were asking Chris, what are you focused on right now, is helping out my team be the best people possible, giving them the best resources possible.
And they help you
diving into them. I'm no longer focused on, hey, I got to hit up more open houses. Hey, I got to start buying more leads for myself and taking all the leads. No, my system and everything is built on making this group of people the top 1% in town and getting them there in half the time it took me to get there. That's the goal.
Yeah. I agree, man. And I think you touched on something important there is, you got to be willing to put in the footwork, right? You got to show you something before you're going to show yourself results. Because, I think a lot of people think that this is just, right, tie a deal here and there, right? Tie one off every month and you're good. But they don't see the groundwork, right? They don't see the correspondence, the emails, the phone calls, right? I mean, sometimes you're knocking on doors, right? I mean, you got to get creative in this business.
You have to get creative, and that's a big thing for our values the team has is we need to have initiative. We need to take initiative with a sense of urgency. If you don't have urgency and you don't have initiative, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you out. And what I'm starting to learn is I don't think I can teach people to have initiative. Like either you got it or you don't. I can't make you get excited to come to the office every day on Monday mornings. When we have a team meeting at 9 a.m. in the morning, like I can't convince you to get there on time. So I've built the infrastructure, the systems, the processes to help out these people be the most bad mofos in the metro. But it's only good if they take on those opportunities. If they're not willing to do it, then it doesn't work. So
Yep. And someone will replace them immediately, right? That there are some go-getters out here, huh?
What's
serious.
Weird? The last 3 years, typically I would always hear of hey, have you heard of this new guy coming up? Man, this he's kicking butt. He's the next new guy coming in. It's a small community of top producing realtors, and we all talk and we all share hey, watch out for this guy. This guy's gonna kill it. He's coming out. This is a good guy to look at, and we look at that happily with open arms. Awesome, someone new to the club. Let him in. But I haven't heard many new people the last few years. There hasn't been oh, have you heard of so and so, or hey, check out what so and so is doing. I haven't heard a lot of that. So I don't know if that's because the market's getting more trying and it's more difficult to really stand out and really push through when you're already dealing with a difficult market. And I'm not saying the market's not a good market, but I mean challenges for the realtors that we're facing right now. I think it's more difficult to expand out and grow. So I'm not sure if that's the reason why, or there's a lackluster of people getting into the business. So whichever it is, all I can say is there is opportunity right now. There is more than enough for everybody. I was at the gym this morning talking to this guy, and he was saying he was worried. He's because he used to work at the gym. He's the most charismatic guy. He talks to everyone, and we see him in the gym. He's telling everybody hi, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's your day going? Talkative dude. I'm this guy's perfect. So me and my workout buddy Shane, we're talking to him, and we say, well, why don't you join real estate? You've got the skills. This is great. You should look into it. And he said, well, I thought about it, and I thought well, how many realtors are there, and how many houses are for sale, and the math isn't mathing to me. And I stopped him right there. I said, whoa, no. There is more than enough for everybody to go around. We always live in a level of abundance when it comes to this. We're never in the sense of, oh no, that guy got 5 listings this week. That's 5 listings off my dinner plate now. It's not how it works. There's more than enough for everybody. There's always opportunity. Always. So I try to explain to him in a longer story that there is opportunity. You can make this work. So he was pumped up after we talked about it. But
that's cool. Yeah. Now, are there more agents that have their license now in the state of New Mexico than say 5 years ago? Or would you say that fluctuates?
Oh, you're quizzing me right now.
Not that you need to know. You don't need to know.
So right now we've got a little over 4,000 brokers.
Okay.
In the metropolitan, right? Let me give you some numbers of relevance. So we got about 4,000 brokers in the Albuquerque metropolitan. Of those 4,000 brokers right now, like I said, we got just shy of 2,400 homes on the market. So if you do the math very quickly, you're going to find out not everybody has a listing. And I'll tell you what, the top 20%, probably top 10% has 80% of those listings right now. It's a small pool. So, and I'm going on a tangent at this point, but this is what I tell even brokers on my team that get started is you want to come into this business and maybe you're doing a couple deals a year in the past and you come on and you say, hey, Chris, I want to do 24 deals this year. You need to work 3 times, 4 times as hard as you were working just to catch up to these stats I just said. You got the top 10% doing 80% of the deals, and you're telling me you want to do X amount of deals? Like, I'm no rocket scientist, but I know for one, you've got to triple the amount of work and the effort you've been doing, and on top of that, you should be doing triple what these guys are doing just to catch up to them. So I don't think people understand that level of you have to be working so hard at. Like, you really got to want this. And I think to them, if they come into the office at 9 and they leave at 12, like, oh, man, that was a good day. I came to the office. Like, no, that's not a good, like, what are we doing here? Like, the level of urgency and intensity you need to have needs to be up here if you're really trying to take this seriously. You really want to make this a career. And I will say the other side of the coin is maybe that's not for everyone. Maybe not everyone wants to be the lights out realtor. Maybe you just want to do a few deals a year, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all, just to be clear. And the level of intensity that I'm talking about, I don't think it lives in that sphere, but I think you're joking with yourself if you don't think you still have to come to the office. You still should be working every day at this. There's still some level. So if you're watching this and you say, well, Chris, I don't want to do this full time, or I don't want to do 30 deals a month. No, you still have to have some kind of level of work ethic. It doesn't just stop there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, things slow down.
Yeah.
You know that. Business slows down, you know, and for those ones that are the pikers, right? The ones that they're going to the bell and that put maybe a deal together here and there, when the business slows down, they go first.
You know, that's what I'm teaching my team. There's a lot of teams out there where they just dish out a bunch of leads to the team and say, hey, here's some leads, go ahead and convert them, see what you can do. They're always, a lot of brokers do this. They're always chasing or they're just looking for the next lead they can get. Even if you're a solo guy, you're just looking for the next lead you can get. You're constantly chasing, whereas our team, what we're teaching, and a lot of brokers do this, but what we're trying to teach you is that you need to learn how to farm. You shouldn't be a hunter. You're supposed to be a farmer in this business. So what does that mean? That means incubating the people that already know, like, and trust you. Why are you going out and trying to convince some stranger to know, like, and trust you when you already have a good group of people that already do? That's who you should be incubating to every day. That like, instead of maybe spending $5,000 on leads for 1 month, spend some money on throwing a client event. Invite your clients to your house for a barbecue. You don't have to spend, this isn't a spending money activity. Being a realtor, I think a lot of people think you have to spend so much money to do this. There are so many ways you don't have to spend any money and you could be a lights out realtor. There's no excuses. I think people have these excuses saying, well, I can't have a big event like that, or only 10 people would come, or I don't know who would come. There's so many excuses out there. It's like, just get it done. Invite them over to dinner. Go out to Dion's with them. How much is a Dion's pizza?
That's it. Sometimes it's a phone call.
It's a
right?
phone call.
Hey, how you been, John? Right? That's it.
I think a lot of realtors get so caught up in this analysis paralysis thing. I think it's such a simple equation to be a lights out realtor. It's simple. And I think the hard part is there's so much noise out there right now of saying, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, this. There's always something new coming at you constantly. Just focus on the bread and butter. It's boring. It's simple. There's no magic to it. It's just doing it day in and day out without slowing down. You can't lose the momentum you're building. But that's it.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Work with the foundation you have already, right?
Yeah.
Their clients, the people you have already, and build from there.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to bring you in more clients too.
There's something
right?
beautiful about having a simple business plan. There doesn't have to be the most complex thing. It really doesn't. Yeah. I see these business plans now that they come out with, and they're like 15, 30 pages. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you could have a Google Doc, say, all right, what's the goal this year? How much are we trying to make this year? Just do some simple math. Like, this isn't rocket science. If you were to ask it, if I asked some random person today, I'm pretty sure we would all come up with a very similar breakdown of how to do it. Like, it's not, I guess that's my advice. If I'm giving advice, if you want to hear my advice to brokers out there that are struggling, just simplify it all. Just get all the noise out of your brain. Just say, okay, what am I doing here? What's the goal? What am I trying to get? how can I get there? Okay, let me just focus on that for a year. Let me not try it for a week. Let me do it for a full year. And then from there, we'll adjust. And then we'll track our numbers. And then we could plan better for next year. And then the next year. It's such a simple thing.
That's it. I think you're right? Sometimes we worry about executing, right, on this ungodly level and don't realize that part of the 80% of the battle is just showing up with a smile, right? Let the rest just flow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
And that's probably what's made you so successful. And I'll say this too, you getting into the game right after high school like that, man, that's a secret. And what I mean by that is, I'll say this, you're in the field, you do whatever, but you get time to get older and you get time to doubt yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes those players that go in, right, just go in guns blazing are the best, man, right? You never had any doubt. You never saw any downside, right? You don't have anything weighing you down.
Oh, there was doubt. Let me tell you.
Was there doubt?
Oh, yeah. So my first year, got Rookie of the Year. Went lights out. Oh, man, Chris is the man. Oh, He's the guy. And I'm like, and in my mind, internally, I'm thinking, was I a one-hit wonder? I have to do this again? I have a whole nother year I got to do this again? I barely got through this year. And I had I had that question in the back of my head, like, oh, man, maybe that was it. Maybe I'm not all that. Maybe that was just, I got lucky. Those few clients were lucky. That deal shouldn't have closed. I start doubting it. And then what I have learned through time is every year that feeling never went away, and eventually I had to realize this is a commission-based job, and it's either you go out and get the deal or you don't. There's no effort for trying, and I think I have proven to myself after so many years that hey, you're fine. You're gonna be fine no matter what. And I mean, we're talking some high production numbers too. And still, I'd be doubting myself. So I'd say to any broker that's watching this, that everyone thinks that. Everybody thinks that. Like, oh, what if that's it? You got to get that idea out of your mind and just say, hey, this is what I do now. I'm a top producer, and this happens every year. I think it's very easy to go backwards and ask yourself, oh, man, I only got X amount in my bank account. What if this happens, that happens? And you could very easily get into scarcity mindset. And just as easily, you could say, oh, man, we got to get another 10 deals under contract. If we get 10 more, we'll get to here. This will happen, this will happen, this will happen.
Yeah.
It is equally as easy to get into both ends of the spectrum. And it is so important you are around people with like-minded environment, like-minded ideas, like-minded goals to help you stay there. Because if you are moping around the office with other people moping around the office, or you're around mopey people in your life, that ain't going to work. The people around my life, I'm so grateful for. The people I have in my life, everybody is getting after it. Everybody has their own successes, their own wins at really high levels. I mean, if you look anywhere in the country, these people are top people in their fields of what they're doing. It's not all real estate, but being around those people in those environments, priceless. It is so priceless. Yeah.
Let me ask you on that note, how do you stay on top? Right, we were talking about that too. Some of you guys it's impressive, right? Because I think it's one thing to get the deals, right, or to have a good year, great year, but then you have a bad year, right? But then like you said, you got to keep that state of mind. You got to keep that focus, even though times are down, right? They're gonna be back up, right? How do you stay in the zone?
I doubt you'd get this answer from anyone, but I'm going to give you the real answer to this question. This is the real answer. You are a top producer in the Albuquerque metropolitan if you're able to do $10 million a year. You're a top producer. You made it. Congratulations. You've proven it to yourself. Cool. After that, it becomes extremely difficult to scale up without the proper infrastructure and the proper systems. So you look at, your question is, how do you stay on top? So how do you stay at, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 100 million, whatever your production number is? How do you stay that high? I promise you, the only way those people are staying that high is with the right infrastructure, systems and processes, and people. You get to a point where you can't scale out past yourself. You have to have the right systems built. So if you're asking me, how do you stay high like that level every year? If you're not constantly watching and evolving and growing these systems, it ain't going to work. And it goes without saying, you have to be at your A game. That's not even a question. Like, you can't have I'm going to be lazy today. I don't feel like it today. That's not a question. Like if you were to ask all the top producers that are doing it at a very high level, that's not the question of the equation. It's the question is what are their systems like? What are their processes like? Those things matter. How do they treat their people? That matters. All of those things matter. And like I said, being a top producer does not equal being good at all those other things I just listed. And it is so difficult. So I think a top producer might be able to figure out 1 year or 6 months, and then they go through these big down spurts like, oh man, everyone on my team left, or oh, this assistant didn't work out, or oh, that didn't work out, or oh, these leads cost too much, or we lost a lead contract, or whatever it is. There's these ups and downs, and you have to learn to be good at this system. No, you're no longer a salesman. Your job is to be a good manager and a good leader to these people. That's how you're going to stay there.
I love it. So what you're saying is basically you have an objective in mind, hard data hedge points here, right? And every day you're showing up and you're meeting those objectives, right? And like you said, it's not about how good my hair looks today or how good I'm going to talk
Exactly.
or how many potential customers I'm reaching out. No, we're just here to accomplish these goals, right? This data that we laid out in front of us, day in, day out. That's it.
You know, I think any industry would laugh at us because we're notorious for being bad business people. We don't treat it like a business. That we are notorious for it. I don't know how this culture came amongst realtors, but we are terrible business people. So I think the top people are fantastic business owners, but to get from being a rainmaker to a business owner, that is such a big stretch, and I think only 1% ever really get to there of the 1% of top rainmakers. So you're talking about the 1% of the 1% of the 1% who are even be able to become realtors.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very small group of people.
Yeah, you got to love what you do. You got to love what you do. That's what I've
Definitely.
seen. The top producers, right? Or even if you're just good, you don't have to be a top producer, right? But you're good. You're good, and you've been doing this for years, right? You got to love what you do. You got to like people. You got to
enjoy
get
it.
out there, and you got to put in the legwork, like we said.
You got to enjoy it. And there's business models where there's two different business models too. There's a business model of running a team like I described, of having people on your team that you mentor and guide and grow to be like you. There's another model out there. And that model is where you build infrastructure around you. Well, it's the opposite of what I said. So you have an assistant that helps you. You hire on a buyer's agent that shows houses on behalf of you. That's maybe on salary. You grow out this infrastructure where you are the center of the whole thing. So if you're a really good rainmaker and maybe you don't like anything I just talked about, there's still a business model for you where you could get up there really good in numbers. You have to build the infrastructure around you. That look up the Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. That book describes that business model of how you can grow it out with starting with yourself outward versus just saying, hey, I'm going to bring on a bunch of agents to my team. It shows you a really proper, healthy way to do it. So there's a way you can do it that way too. There's different ways. And that's what I like about real estate. There's so many different ways to do it, so many different personalities, so many different ways and strategies of doing it. You can just, as long as you're yourself and you go lights out with it, you can make it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now let's talk about this. I think another key aspect of the business, right, is helping your clients, right? I mean, that's another awesome part is if you can sell a home and at the same time help your client, right? Get them the best deal possible, make sure all the inspections are done right. Let's talk about how valuable that is.
It's something I think people lose sight of a lot. And in this industry too. And I think because it's such a stressful environment to be around. But I tell you what, when I get a client that shoots me over a text or calls me and says, Chris, we couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much. Man, I'm not a guy for a soft spot, but that's a soft spot. When I hear something like that where someone's so grateful and so glad to have worked with me, or maybe we're negotiating a deal and I saved them $50,000 that they would have had to spend otherwise maybe when they were working with somebody else. Like I saved them a lot of money, or we negotiated a lot of money, or there were some other variables I knew about for them to look out for. That level of expertise that I offer and bring to the table, when they I give it to every client regardless, but when they recognize that and they truly are grateful for that, it means the world to me. It means the world.
It's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can help somebody and everybody wins, right?
Yeah, everybody wins.
And maybe you wouldn't have landed the biggest commission, right? But I think that business comes back tenfold, right? All their cousins, their friends, everybody comes back, right? Because they know you're going to work for the best deal.
When I first got into business, I looked at what all the top producers were doing. I took most of them all out to lunch, or I hung out with them. I had to get to know who's doing the most business and why are they doing it? How are they doing it? What's the secret? I need to be around it. I need to be in that energy. So I started with my office at the time. I wrote them all handwritten letters, said, hey, I'd love to take you out to lunch, put them on all their doors around the office. Asked them, how did you get to where you're at? Okay. So after interviewing most of the metro, all the top dogs in town, I call them top dogs, all the top dogs in town, I started picking up on patterns. If we went out to lunch, I noticed, how did he treat the waiter? He wasn't nice to them at all. And I noticed, this guy was really cocky, or this guy was very arrogant, or this person was rude, or this person was on their phone the whole meeting. I picked up on all these things. I also picked up on great things like, this guy's really great. He cares about his family. That family's number one. Or, hey, this guy understands there's a work-life balance at the point of his career right now. Or this guy's noticed this. This guy has great systems with this.
So you learn about.
I learned everything. And from there, I crafted like a perfect avatar of myself of learning from all these traits and skills. Like, okay, don't want to be like that. This is great. That's terrible. I learned all these things. And, fast forward to today, I'll give you a story, a perfect story. So I've learned to be nice to people goes such a long way. It goes such a long way. And a story I'll give you is I bought a Lamborghini this year. It was a big goal of mine, was to buy a Lamborghini. So
congrats.
I bought one. Yeah, great thing to have checked off of the bucket list.
Heck yeah.
Crazy achievement. It's for the car people out there. It's a 2021 Lamborghini Evo. Bought it with less than 4,000 miles. Pristine car with like a custom red color. Beautiful car. But what I've learned is, because when I was growing up, me and my dad and my brother, we went to car shows all the time. I knew other realtors with nice cars too. And I watched how they treated people, especially at the Cars and Coffee. I noticed, that guy's kind of a jerk talking to people. Or this guy's kind of cocky, or he's kind of arrogant. And I quickly picked up, like, supercar owners were like assholes. And I remember when I was super young, if we got like a supercar owner's phone number, man, me and my brother were so excited. Oh my God, we know a guy with a Ferrari. This is crazy. Like, this is so cool. So with all that information in mind, I thought to myself, okay, I don't ever want to be that asshole. I don't ever want to be that guy. So how do I flip the script? Because there's kids now watching me. This car is now a symbol of hope for these young kids to, want to become something one day, whatever, and just for people in general. So how do I flip the script on what I've experienced so far, of this culture? And I decided to be nice to everybody. So anywhere I take the car, naturally people are going to say, hey, nice car, I love it, tell me about it, yada, yada. Most people just be like, hey, thanks, later, I'm filling up gas. No, what I would do is say, hey, thank you so much, come check it out. Oh my God, you have a Mustang. Oh, that's a GT. Show me your engine, let me check it out. I gave them the time and day and my appreciation. And then on the side of the car, some would say it's cheesy, but I have my Instagram on there. And I say, hey, follow my Instagram, I'll follow you back. That means the world to people when they see that from someone. To maybe that car is so out of touch with them, they've never seen it before. It's Albuquerque. They're like, oh my God, that really? You'll follow me back? Yeah, I'll follow you back. Show me your car. Let me check it out. That's a nice car. I give them the time and day and talk to them. And a story I'll give is I was driving one day and this young kid said, hey, like your car, as always. We're at a stoplight. What was he driving? He was driving a Range Rover. And no, it was a Corvette. It was a C7 Corvette. And it was a blue C7 Corvette. I used to have one, and I still miss that car. Same color car, same brake calipers I had. It was yellow brake calipers. And he said, nice car. And I said, dude, thank you. I love your car. I want to get that back one day. I had that car before too, just like yours. And we're chatting at the stop sign. I say, hey, follow my Instagram. I'll follow you back. And so he follows me on Instagram, and it's some young kid, like early 20s. He has a few houses of some high-end luxury houses, some cool cars. I'm like, all right, it's a cool dude. He had a bunch of boxing videos. I'm like, all right, seems like a cool guy. Follow him back. Don't think nothing of it. Like 2 months go by, he calls me up and says, hey, I don't know if you know who I am, but I represent one of the biggest luxury builders in town. They do about $100 million a year in production, roughly. And he says, we want to interview you to take on the book of business. Would you be willing to come in? You're the guy. I know you. We want you to come in. All right, cool. So I go in, interview a couple brokers, and sure enough, I got the gig. So now we're representing one of the biggest custom home builders in the state, because the car was cool, but it wasn't the car. It was the fact that I was nice to him, and I gave him the time of day and respect, versus me just saying, thanks, bro, roll up the window.
You created opportunity by just being good people.
I've gotten so many deals with that car and be nice to people, man. That's like my superpower. Yeah. I've got another listing. I got another listing over $1 million from that. I've got a bunch of transactions from it. But the point of the story isn't that. The point of the story is what I've learned is being nice to people, giving them the time of day. And especially when maybe they look at you as someone that's above them, not to talk down to them and give them the respect they deserve. Man, it goes a long ways. Long ways.
And like you said, though, too, opening yourself up to learn from them also, right?
You don't know what you don't know.
We learn so much from everybody, right? We're influenced by each other constantly, right? Yeah. We are each other. Let's be honest, right? So, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. And that's what I tell my team. I tell them, like, look, I'm not the guy that says, we've always done it this way. We're doing it this way. Don't question it. It's like, no, if you've got a better idea, bring it to the table. Like, let's hear it. If it's a good idea, then well, scrap this. Let's go with this. Like, I'm all about, as I said in the beginning of this podcast, is I'm a logical guy. If you have something that makes more sense, by all means, let's take this better idea out there. So I'm always listening. I'm always learning. To this day, I'm still constantly trying to get lunches with people. Say, hey, I don't know you yet. You've done tremendous for what you've done so far. I'd like to take you out to lunch. Teach me what I don't know yet, because I've gone to this level. But one thing I've learned is there's 1,000 levels above the level I'm at right now. This is like, and the kid in me thought, this is it. This is the top. You're the guy. No, there's so many more levels to learn. And it's not just about money or success or accolades. It's also about developing yourself as a person. And what success is too, like I was saying, it's easy to become cocky. It's easy to fall into spirals. I mean, I know guys that just want to party all the time. There's drugs involved, or, you have issues. There's so many things, so many dark holes you can get into. And I mean, these guys that are top 1% of the country, like top dudes, like worth more than more celebrities are. And they're the most well-rounded, down-to-earth people. That's something I take notice to all day. Like you have all of this influence, this power, yet you are the most well-rounded person. You're a good person. Maybe your faith is really good. You're with your family. You're into working out. You're into helping people. Like, I need to be around that energy. That's what I'm looking for now. It's not just I want to find the top dog in town. I'm looking to find the most well-rounded people who are happy in life. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
That's it. That's it, huh? And I mean, I think you couldn't have said it better, right? Find like-minded people. Right? You find these like-minded, motivated people, and you have no choice but to move in the right direction, right?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever gone to lunch with someone or met someone and you're like, wow, that guy was cool, and you left with some of their energy?
Yes.
Yeah. Your circle you hang out with is so important. It's so important. That is that needs to be the one most important things you have. And sure, there's some control where you may not have control of who you're around every day, but take what control you do have. Who do you have control of hanging out with after work or before work or on the weekends? You have some control.
You do.
You need to think about who you're hanging out with for sure. And if you're hanging out with people that you're not trying to be like or be at some point, you're probably in the wrong circles. And again, it doesn't have to equal bank account. It doesn't have to equal accolades. It could equal somebody's faith. It could equal somebody's being well-rounded. It could be someone being an athlete. It could be someone that's really close to their family. So there's so many things, whatever it is you're looking for, but constantly be reaching to collaborate.
Many ways to exploit the goodness, right? Is the way I look at it. Yeah.
And I'll say this too, because like I told you, all these kids end up hitting me up on Instagram. It's hard to figure out the mentor-mentee dynamic and how to go about saying like, hey, do you want to mentor me? Like, it doesn't work that way. And when I say find better circles, that doesn't mean you go find a good circle. Like, hey guys, so I'm here. I'm hanging out with all of you guys now going forward. That's not how it works. You can't just do that. You have to provide value yourself. You have to bring some kind of value. That's the new mentor-mentee dynamic. And maybe it's always been that way, but more than ever, at least, than my experiences, you have to provide some kind of value to the person you're trying to learn from or be around. Now, what does value look like? Well, Chris, I don't know anything. Or, oh, well, what do I know? Or how can I help him? I don't know. Like, if you truly don't feel like you have anything, then you probably got a lot of time on your hands, right? Time is worth so much. It is worth so much. Time is the most valuable thing, way more than money. So use that time towards finding some kind of value. You need to be creative. You need to think outside the box. It doesn't have to equal, oh, I don't have the resources. I don't have the experience. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the juice behind me. I don't have a cool car to hang around him. you're missing the point. You got to think of something. And it's probably something you're not going to think of off the bat. You've got to really think about it. I've had times where I needed to find some kind of value to bring to people, and I'll even go to my team, be like, guys, here's a situation. What do you guys have any ideas? Like, what could we do? Like, what's something that I think would wow them? What's something that would bring some true value to them?
Yeah, I think that nothing wrong with that, right? Part of actually being humble, right, can open opportunities. Definitely, right?
For sure.
I mean, yeah.
For sure.
We need each other. We need each other.
I think not being, there's so much to say. I think everything we've been talking about, you have to remain humble throughout this entire process, because I think there's so many opportunities for you not to be. And in this industry, you have very competitive people. And I think that shows. Well, when you have competitive people, you're naturally going to have divas. You're naturally going to have people that are cocky, because unless you weren't cocky, you probably wouldn't have been cocky enough to have gone to that client and said, hey, look at all these houses I have. You have to have some sort of level to it. But I think it's just keeping it in check and not letting it go past where you're at in life. You got to keep it in check. You just got to keep reminding yourself that thing. You know?
Yeah, I think a big part of that too, me and Gabe talk about it all the time, is you got to know how to follow before you lead too, right? Humble yourself. Know where you're at. Like you said, if you have a lot of time, then it probably means you have a lot to learn, right? And that means, hey, gonna have to jump in the trenches, right? We're gonna have to get our hands dirty, and it's not gonna be easy. But I promise you, if you do what I tell you to do, right, and we get our hands dirty, next month will be a little better, and the next month will be a little better, and so on.
I've got a broker on my team that just joined a little recently, and I was telling them, hey, we got to start doing this, this, and this, and they said, well, I never done it like that. I don't think I need to do that. I can do this or that. And I said, well, just trust me on this. It's for a reason. And that's kind of my style. Is it? I don't know. I guess I'm Mr. Miyagi now that I think about it. But I tell them, like, hey, make sure this and this and this is super important. And they may not know. And then I let the lesson happen. And then they say, oh, that's why. Because there was something I wasn't seeing that you already knew would be coming. I had no idea about. Oh, that's why. And I said, everything I tell you to do is for 1,000% for a reason, because I've been there. I've done the same thing. So, I think you need to be coachable for sure. And you don't know what you don't know. So always trying to learn something new. I mean, I got people on my team teaching me new stuff. Like the way they learn stuff is different than how I learn stuff. So they had different strategies too. Like when I see them like running comps, there's some strategies they put in on the MLS. I'm like, I didn't even know that was an option on the MLS. This is cool. You're always learning something.
Always learning something.
Always. Yeah.
Well, Chris, I love it. Thanks so much for coming out, man, having this talk with us, and come back and see us. And, we touched on a lot of good gems, I think, here. Any potential real estate agents out there that want to hang their license somewhere, right? I think, Chris, you're the guy to go to. Yeah. I mean, if you guys just ever want to talk, or just maybe I'm the guy you want to take out to lunch, like, let me know. I'll tell you my favorite restaurants if you guys want to know. But yeah, I've been to some podcast settings, and this setup you guys have is definitely A-grade podcast studio. I'm looking, I know you guys don't see it, but there's cameras everywhere, there's TVs everywhere. This is quite a setup. So definitely impressed with the podcast setup. This is definitely A1.